Can the Narcissist Shift Schools? As you know, my excellent work categorizes narcissists into schools and subschools, and also categories. I do this for the purposes of enabling people to gain unrivaled understanding about the behavior of the narcissist. It helps you understand what a narcissist is, how they behave, what they will do, and just as importantly, what they won't do, what they will say, and what they're less likely to say. It enables you to understand and make sense of the interactions that you have had. It also assists you with regard to the issue of the planning, implementation, and maintenance of your no-contact regime. It enables you to understand how the narcissist is likely to respond to that, why the narcissist has taken certain steps, why the narcissist did this but didn't do that. Chief amongst it, however, is to get away from the concept of the narcissist just being presenting in one particular type, the idea of the ultra-vain, man-eater or woman-slaying individual who thinks that they're God's gift to the world, completely up their own backside. That is but one flavour of narcissist. Indeed, there are others that categorise narcissists just into covert and overt, and as I have explained to you, that whilst it's appropriate to talk in terms of covert and overt behaviours, a classification of a covert narcissist is still way too wide, as is overt or as is grandiose. That's unhelpful, because there are considerable differences within each of those descriptions, and that is something that it is important for you to understand and have access to. I created all of these subschools so that you are able to understand that there are differences between narcissists alongside the similarities. That you can understand that certain narcissists operate with a facade and others do not. Some have a low threshold on their ignited fury, others have a very high threshold. Certain manipulations are only used by these narcissists, some manipulations are used by all narcissists, but their application varies. Some narcissists are high in charm, others are low. Some narcissists are preoccupied with matters material and sex, others with matters of the mind. To help you understand, for instance, that part of it appertains to the cognitive function of the narcissist, the extent and size of their fuel matrix. Whether you'll be responded to in heated fury or cold fury, with aggressive, obvious behaviours, or covert behaviours, passive-aggressive ones. Whether there'll be extensive use of, for example, pity plays, or whether you're more likely to be on the receiving end of verbal tirades. So my classification system has been done to give you the widest access to different types of narcissists so you can spot them, whilst doing it in a way that is easily understandable, getting away from scientific and esoteric terms, which are ultimately meaningless. You may read them in other publications or hear about them and think, that's all very well, but what does that actually look like with regard to the day-to-day behaviour of this individual? What does it mean with regard to how they treat me, how they talk to me, how they deal with other people? And that is where my work is unrivaled, both in terms of the breadth and depth of understanding that I convey to you, but also in the manner by which it is communicated. Within the schools, we start with the lower lesser, the middle lesser, upper lesser type A and upper lesser type B, who all belong to the lesser school. They have certain characteristics in common. For example, they don't operate with facades, but then there are differences. Lower lessers are generally thick as pig shit. Upper lessers A and B can actually be very clever, not always, but can be. And there are other similarities and differences also. And if you want to understand more about these, go to the Knowledge Vault and look at the excellent H.G. Malls series. You'll find it very entertaining as well. Mid-rangers, we have lower mid-range, which is an amalgam of lesser and mid-range. Middle range A, either the anodyne or the overwhelming angel, the false angel. The middle range type B, the crybaby. And the upper mid-range, often mistaken for the graters. Haughty, arrogant, polished, pretty effective, often with a sizable fuel matrix and successful. The graters, lower grater, tend to be quite violent and aggressive, although behind the scenes. Middle grater, often more showy in nature. Think of your pop stars. Think of your performers. And then upper grater. the real Machiavellian characters pulling the strings, sometimes behind the scenes. And then of me, the ultra. And therefore, a narcissist, when analysed by me through the narc detector, will be found to belong to one of the relevant subschools that I've described. And from that, you will then be able to understand a lot more about the way that that individual behaves, how they operate, and how that impacts upon you. A common question, of course, that arises with regard to these classifications is, HG, can one narcissist move from a school to another? In short, the answer is no. The school is fixed. You might think, well, is it the case that the narcissist can somehow train up and increase in levels? The answer to that is no. Again, the narcissism is fixed. During the creation of the narcissist in those formative years of between 0 and 9, the narcissist becomes a particular type of narcissist, and that is fixed. Sometimes people ask, HG, are you not concerned that narcissists might come to your work, read it, and become empowered, and they will basically bone up on how to become a better manipulator? The short answer to that is no. The reason being is that any narcissist that comes that is a greater, any narcissist that comes to my work, if they're a greater, they wouldn't come and look at my work. They've no need to. They know what they are. They know how to manipulate extensively. They might have a passing interest in it, but ultimately they're unlikely to. They don't need to, because they know what they are, and moreover, they'll be busy about their own matters, and therefore would be too involved in the various fingers and other pies that they have. Of course, lesser and mid-range narcissists do crop up occasionally. You see them every so often in the comments section to my videos. And, of course, you are aware that YouTube is particularly populated by various mid-range narcissists posing as supposed empaths or narc abuse recovery coaches, the acronym, of course, being completely lost on them. If a narcissist comes to my work, they're unaware, and therefore they will think that they are the victim. They won't listen and then think, oh, I can use this to my advantage. They won't even use it subconsciously because their manipulative nature is already fixed by reference to their school. So even their unconscious narcissism will not come to my work and think, oh, look, this ultra is providing us with a vast array of information. Let's utilize this so that we can sort of level up, upskill in some way. It wouldn't happen. The narcissist is fixed and stays within those parameters. So whilst it is a common question to ask, can the narcissist shift school? The simple answer is, no, they cannot. I'm HG Tudor. Thank you for listening.